Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I see we're in October now. It's 16th October. And I see that you're wearing a pink shirt.
Oh, thank you.
I know it is...
the breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate that, right?
Jazakallah khair.
A lot of people will appreciate
Yeah, and
that.
I see the
yeah, you... I didn't notice that.
The prayer rug is pink in the masjid
Yeah.
too, so that's nice.
That's nice.
That's nice.
That's really remarkable, honestly.
Yeah.
But also, October reminds us of Halloween at the end of the month. We received the question is what is allowed and what is not allowed when it comes to this, which we all face actually being in this society.
Halloween is a holiday intended to be, or it is the reality of Halloween today is a day of fun for kids mainly. You know, a lot of candies, a lot of like going out, getting rewarded by a lot of sugar. You know, they are high on sugar and custom clothes and fun stuff. There is one way to look at it, and it's important for us to understand this. Because so many times when we speak about Halloween to our kids, that's all what they can think of, especially those who born and raised here. Mm-hmm. You know, what's wrong with Halloween? Halloween's fun, just candy, just funny clothes.
That's from their perspective.
Yeah, with all honesty, that's the reality of what's Halloween today. Okay, in the mind of an average American person, that's what it does. An average American person, an average person in America today or in the West, don't think of Halloween. They don't think it about worshiping the devil. They don't think about all this historical background for Halloween. Why I'm saying this? I'm not saying this to say it's allowed or not allowed. What I'm saying this is because sometimes when we communicate with our children especially, we communicate in different channels. We're looking at a theological perspective, the history of it, blah, blah, blah. For them, it's just an emotional connection. It's just fun. You old people just grumpy. You don't want to have fun. You don't want to have sugar. Maybe you're old, you have a diabetes, but I'm not. You see? So make sure that you know how to connect your kids, how to convince them of why we don't allow celebrating Halloween. It's not because of the fun, not because of the candy, not because of that. It's because even if we don't intend to worship shaitan or devil or anything like that, we have a concept that Halloween contains multiple problems. You know, one of the problems is not safe. There is so many research about how unsafe Halloween can be for children, for going out in the night. That's one. Two, it also promotes behavior that is not Islamically correct. First, asking people and begging for things from people and stuff like that. That's not a behavior that we usually do, actually. We just knock to a stranger, please give me some candy, you know? It's just a behavior that is not acceptable. And not because everything is weird is it's cool. That's just wrong. Because if you open this door, you'll see what happening in society. A lot of weird things happening, and people think it's cool to keep...
That's normalizing...
weird things,
yes.
The wrong things sometimes, you know? And people think it's cool to be called, keep Austin weird, keep Portland weird. You know, it's become a slogan. You know, to a certain extent, I understand the fun aspects of it, or what they mean. But also in that package comes a lot of things which is not good for society. From Muslim perspective, Islam came to protect the person, to make the person resilient to things which is not right. Also, some of the behavior in that celebrations is the issue of the costume that people wear. Can you imagine, Sheikh, what Fox News will say, what Western media will say? I don't know, I'm picking one particular news outlet. What Western media will say, one blogger will say, if Eid al-Fitr, okay, we come to the Eid Salah and we have knives and blood and heads cut off and, hands cut off, and that's how we celebrate our Eid. What we will be called?
Daesh.
Barbaric. Yeah, ISIS, and barbaric. And what kind of barbaric? You see how that is?
Right, yeah.
Why it's not the same thing when it comes to Halloween? Why this is called fun?
bloodsuckers and
Yeah,
you know.
it just how you frame things. Even though I agree that it is wrong, it is not the right message. You know, these things are gross. These things are not correct. So to normalize this in our kids' mind, that's not a healthy thing for society. So also, you know, witches and devils and shaitan and like, you know, bloodsucker, dracolia, like all this kind of stuff, like is not a healthy thing to raise our kids on it. So all this form of shirk. So that's not good. We can have fun, we can have costume, we can have all this, but not the way that it is un-Islamic or unethical or not correct. So that's something that's important, in my opinion, a discussion and talk that we have.
Very good. Go ahead.
I just also want to just add to this. We have to understand also that there is a different levels of violation the codes of Islam. Okay? Because not every violation is in the same level.
They're not all the same.
So
you're right.
there is a big difference between, for me at least, someone doing Halloween and going outside just for candy and having a costume that is not, you know, haram things, you know, or bad things. Let's say a costume like a butterfly or like soldier, whatever costume that they're wearing. And the same and another person, for example, celebrating Easter, the risen of God from dead and the salvations of, that's a shirk, that's a concept that it is, in my opinion, for you as Muslims, that, you know, or Christmas or like a religious holiday, or somebody will celebrate a Buddhist, you know, or a Hindu religious holiday, or basically participate in sermon like this. That's not right. So there is levels. They're not the same. I'm not going to be as strict about this as much as I'm strict about the other one. Also, this one is not haram because of itself, because of because of the things attached to it, the Halloween. And
but if I can just, if we can pause here. The thing is, you know, by sometimes we find that by the passage of time, a lot of these holidays that were originally based on violation, on a aqidah violation, on a creed violation, become normalized and become just not a violation, but just socially accepted, just because of the passage of time. I know Halloween, you know, through the passage of time, it was like it predated Christianity in a way where it has a pagan origin. Mm-hmm. And people forgot that part because of the time that passed. Even Christians are against it. I mean, you find churches inviting people, children, to their activities on that night because they want to protect the children from, you know, participating in these activities. So I see where you're talking about, like Easter is fresher in our mind and the mind of people, that it is about the rising of Jesus, and which is not acceptable in our religion. But simply,
rises as a God.
Right, I know.
Otherwise,
exactly.
we believe that he was risen to the heavens.
Risen,
yeah.
He
as a human, as a
he didn't die.
Yeah.
We believe that.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, do you encourage parents to talk to their children about the origin of Halloween and how it originated in one of the biggest violations of Tawheed, which is polytheism, you know, believing in multiple gods and, you know, saints and whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, like similarly with Christmas, you know, took on a Christian clock, but it's not. It also originated in a pagan holiday or a pagan tradition. How much are we allowed, since we have children, and knowing that, you know, Luqman alayhi salam spoke to his child about Tawheed and Shirk, and these are big topics. What do you think?
I think it's good education, an opportunity for a good education about the concept of shirk and tawheed and things, how progress changed. I don't know how much they will relate to it. It depends on the age as well of the kids. Has one. Two, question. In our religion, if things completely change and became completely irrelevant to the past, the rules change unless the Sharia specifically mention it. Like if
Can you clarify,
like
please?
if the Sharia said such practice is haram, it doesn't matter people practice it for the same reason during the Prophet ﷺ or not. If the Sharia said that, like for example, some rules like this, like in Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Hajj, he, for example, ordered the Sahaba to show their shoulders. Why? To show that the people of Mecca that we are strong and strong fighter.
The right shoulder.
The right shoulder.
Yeah, you pointed at the left.
Oh, the right shoulder, sorry. The right shoulder. Okay, so why this is, but somebody today, we don't do this anymore today because there is nobody to show. No, this became a rule that Islam had putting as a rule.
Right.
And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for example, said, don't be like the Jews and Christians at that time. Do this and that. So let's say the Jew and Christian that time used to do this, and Nabi said, don't do the same thing, do it in a different way. If somebody said they don't do it anymore, so should we cancel the ruling? No, we don't. We still continue to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? So because the rule became established as part of our religion. But there is other things that were not mentioned specifically in Islam. They were not mentioned specifically by the Prophet ﷺ, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was understood. And because of, at one time it was haram because it's this how the custom, the culture of people. If that custom and culture and historical background change completely, does it still take the same rule? The answer is no.
Do you have an example? Because sometimes it becomes
Yeah.
clearer if you have an
For
example.
example, let's say the the tie, an example. Somebody said the tie, like Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd rahimahullah
Allah.
mentioned, that the tie that you put originally, the original root for the tie was what? Was some Christians, they do like a shawl or like a garment or what do you
Right.
call scarf around the neck, and they would do the Trinity. They do it in a
Okay.
way in a Trinity, then they well tied it. And they said that's what originally the idea of tie came from. Let's assume this is correct. Nobody ever do tie today, think of it this way. It's completely changed. Let's see, some of the scholar also said the beads, the subha, is not allowed. Why? They said because originally it comes from the Buddhist monk. They believe in it. But today, those Muslims who use the beads, they have no connection of the rosary
Because
or
they're counting- they're
it
counting
became
the-
completely different entity for itself. So change. So is that historical background still affect if it's completely irrelevant? Names. Some names in the past, it used to be names for deity or gods. But the people who used to worship these gods not exist anymore. It's this whole practice not exist. It just Denise, a name. It's one of the gods of the Greek.
Or Athena.
Yeah. So can we say this haram to do it anymore because it's not? But those people not exist unless it's mentioned in the Quran or the Sunnah. Like
Unless, yeah.
Fir'aun, it's a name you're not allowed to
Exactly.
use. Haman, because it's a name. We don't have any more pharaohs, but still the rules apply. You see how it works. So here, for Halloween, Sheikh Kamal was talking to me that day, and he was saying to me that still until today, people celebrate Halloween as a pagan, satanic worshippers' holiday. Until today. And the people do that and practice it this way. And because of this, the reality that still people do some ritual to the satanic ritual during that day and believe in it, we say we're not allowed to celebrate Halloween.
Okay.
But if that Halloween completely changed, the date changed, this does not exist anymore, I will lean towards more the permissibility as part of the culture, like became like Thanksgiving, became like, it's just a culture thing I'm not very strict about. Halloween is one of the things that I don't believe we should do it, but I'm not very strict about it because, or I'm not like, I will not categorize it like the other religious holidays that it is absolutely haram.
That are in the mind of people connected to a
Certain belief
religious
or
belief.
still practiced by people a certain,
Widely.
widely or like known, to be known, as a haram, forbidden practice. And when I mention like Easter or Christmas, and I mean that because of my theology, not just to say that Christian or a pagan holiday better than Christian holiday. That's not the point. I hope nobody like misunderstand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, for me as a Muslim, I don't believe in the concept of Jesus, Son of God, or risen, or died, or anything like that.
Crucifixion,
that's why I'm not allowed to celebrate that or recognize that as something in my theology. And we still have that, ruling of respecting Ahlul Kitab and dealing with them, and I just don't want someone to say, "Oh, you're saying like pagan holiday is easier than a Christian who's Ahlul Kitab." That's not the point. The point was just, this is theologically, I don't believe in it. I'm not allowed to celebrate. While this one have no theological attachment anymore
in the mind of people.
In the mind of people.
Right.
I hope that just because I see some people deal with Halloween in a very, very strict mood, and if like they became like extremely sensitive about it. And I think it is not a good thing to do. I think we should not encourage our kids to do. But if they do, or some people choose to do, or some mufti said it's allowed, I'm not going to make this.
That doesn't make them leave the fold of Islam.
Not a fold of Islam. Does not make them like major sin. I don't believe it's a major sin or anything of that sense. Of that, like I put it in its right place. You know what? That's not something I do. I would not advise you to do. Move on.
I would not want my children to do. I would not want my community to do. But if it happens, that's what you think.
Yeah, it's like many other things. Violations, minor violations, happen by people. Allah knows best.
Barakallah feek, Sheikh. Glad that we clarified that. Jazakallah khair.